Congressman Wenstrup, thank you for joining us today. I want to ask you up front, after listening to the FBI investigation yesterday, the conclusion of it, do you think there should have been criminal charges against Hillary Clinton?
Well, I think so, based on Federal Code 793. And in Federal Code 793, it doesn't say anything about intent. It talks about gross negligence and putting material in the custody of the wrong place of where it should be held. And I think that we saw that. And he made the case for that. He made the case very clearly for that. He also made the case on several other fronts that many of the things that Mrs. Clinton said along the way proved not to be true. For example, that she had turned over all her emails, that none of them were classified. Or marked classified, and we found out that they were. And so he revealed quite a bit that leaves us very concerned for our national security. And as a person who served in the military, you know, I can tell you this isn't how the military gets to operate.
So do you think that the suggestion to not file charges, do you think that that's purely partisan then?
Well, I'm not sure why he came to that conclusion. Maybe in his heart he felt it was better for the country. But I can tell you that within the military, we don't send emails through our government sites unless we mark them classified or unclassified. And if you're on the wrong system, it doesn't go. Apparently the State Department needs that kind of education and guidance. And also that's something that we do every year is we take an annual online course to talk about the risks that can be taken if we are not properly taking care of sensitive information. And obviously at the State Department, they don't find that to be as important, and there was a mistake. And where's the sense of duty? I mean, because personally, if I received an email that was classified and not on the right system, I have an obligation to report that and to make a case out of it and to go to the person who did that and make sure it doesn't happen again. And there may be some punitive arrangements made with the person who did that. So in that 793, by the way, it doesn't say anything about intent. It just says gross negligence. Now, he called it carelessness. To me, they're the same thing.
You're leaping ahead to where I wanted to go in terms of national security. So you're saying the military does not operate this way. The State Department does. What can Congress do to stop this? I mean, what I don't understand is, like you said, you have to take an online course in the military. We do at Sinclair Broadcasting. We have to take an online course, click yes or no if this is appropriate to send out. Are we really finding out that that is absolutely not the case at the State Department, or is this one person that just operated differently?
Well, it seems to be not the case, and I think that we need to look into that. And obviously, it's a shame, because you would think that at that level there'd be a sense that there's common sense involved with this situation. You know, we're talking about someone who is a lawyer, for one, served as First Lady, and certainly was around national defense conversations, whether classified or unclassified, served as a senator, and then served as Secretary of State. And nowhere along the line did this not occur, that this is not the proper way to do things, or the question remains, were you trying to hide things? Were you trying to avoid Congress? Were you trying to avoid Freedom of Information Act? What was the purpose behind this? What really was the intent of setting up another server? Certainly not convenience. You know, I can tell you also that when we travel overseas, first of all, when I'm here, I carry two phones. One is my personal phone, and the other is my professional phone as a congressman. And I don't carry any classified information on that phone, but nonetheless, that phone does not go with me when I travel overseas. I take a completely sterile blank phone with me so that information cannot be gathered. These are common things that we know and understand. Unfortunately, it sounds like we are going to have to administer some kind of course for everyone who serves, especially on the civilian side, because the military is already doing it.
So where do you think this is going to end? Do you think we've heard the end of investigations? Do you think the Justice Department will file charges? Do you think we're going to have sweeping changes at the State Department? Where does this end?
Well, I would hope that the Department of Justice would at least respond to the findings of the FBI and make their own case as to why or why not this should be prosecuted. And I think if they look closely at Section 793, it's hard to say that you can't prosecute it. Nonetheless, I think they have an obligation to the American people. The other concern I have is once we've had the primaries, or the conventions, all those that are on the ticket are then able to sit at classified and secret information gatherings. You are given briefs every day. And it's important, and I want to know, are the very same people that were sending Mrs. Clinton these emails with disregard for their classification going to be sitting in on these meetings as well as part of the team? There's a lot of things that we need to look at, because I'm telling you, as someone who serves, and I look out for all those in the CIA, FBI, all those people that are out there doing things that are trying to keep us safe each and every day, are they sitting wondering if at the top that the security that's needed is being respected? I'm sure they're thinking about that today.
The meeting between Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch at the airport, do you think that was purely a coincidence?
Well, I think it was inappropriate, whether it was coincidence or not. I think it was very bad optics. And I think that both should have said it's not a good idea that we discuss anything today because it wouldn't look right. And so that's what you do. You try to avoid bad optics, and they didn't do that. So whether it was innocent or not, it was a bad decision for them to get together at that time.
Do you think these recent events are enough to really change what happens in November, or do you think Democrats are going to vote for Hillary Clinton and Republicans are going to go for Donald Trump?
Well, we'll see. You know, I think that one of the things that disturbs me since I've been here is we have to deal with so much dishonesty. There are so many things that we are dealing with that have to do with dishonesty and nefarious behavior, and it's really a shame. And I think the American people deserve better, and I hope that they are saying that we want to have someone in office that will tell us the truth and will be concerned about our national security and not just themselves. You know, those that serve, they often take the oath in their own minds of selfless service, and we need to see more of that from those that serve us.
One thing, though, I do have to kind of get to Donald Trump a bit here. Do you think it's appropriate in response to what happened for him to send out tweets that use the phrase crooked Hillary? Is that what we want from a commander-in-chief, that kind of sarcasm?
Well, you know, I came to Washington to be a statesman, and I think there's a way that you go about that. I think he should let the things play out a little bit further. He's got his own style. I guess I've got mine. I think that I want to go after the truth and present the truth to the American people and let them decide. And hopefully they will take a good hard look at this. And, you know, I guess I'm naive at some point. I'm old enough to remember Watergate, and I thought after Watergate, as a young person, I thought, oh, we'll never see behavior like this again in our government. But boy, was I wrong.
Congressman, thank you for joining us today.